Ladies and gentlemen, let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. You do not get a woman that mindset. That's your first mistake. Women are not prizes to be won. They're people. And if you want to connect with a powerful, confident, incredible woman, you'd better become the kind of person who deserves one. Period. Now listen, I know what you're looking for. You want to feel desired. You want to walk into a room and own it. You want that woman, that one to look at you and feel something, that spark, that pull, and I'm here to tell you it's possible. But it's not about the car you drive, how much you make, or some cheesy pickup line you memorized from YouTube. It's about you. You want to become irresistible. You want to be the kind of man that lights her up just by being in the room. Then here's the truth bomb you didn't know you needed. You attract what you believe you deserve. Let that sink in. You don't attract who you want, you attract who you are, and that means if you're showing up insecure, uncertain, full of hidden resentment or unhealed wounds, you're going to attract dysfunction, disinterest, or disappointment. Every time, but here's the best part, you can change it. And no, I'm not talking about changing for anyone. I'm talking about changing so that you stop settling, stop pretending, and start showing up in the world with power. You want to be attractive, start with confidence, real confidence, and I don't mean being loud or cocky. That's not confidence, that's insecurity in a leather jacket. Real confidence is quiet, it's steady. It's the energy of a man who knows himself, who keeps his word, who doesn't need attention to feel worthy. How do you build that kind of confidence? Simple. You do hard things. You keep promises to yourself. You take care of your body, your mind, your mission. You make the call when it's uncomfortable. You show up when it's hard. You stop ghosting your goals and start showing up for you. Because here's the secret. When you have your own back, people feel it. And don't underestimate emotional intelligence. You think women want a six-pack and a six-figure salary. Sure, some do, but what everyone wants, what real women are magnetized by, is someone who sees them. Someone who listens, someone who can handle their own emotions without blowing up, shutting down, or checking out. The most powerful, magnetic men I know, they've done the work, they've looked at their patterns. They've healed the stuff that used to sabotage their relationships. They know how to communicate, how to lead with clarity, and how to respect a woman's strength without being threatened by it. Look, you want a queen. Then become a king, and I'm not talking about thrones and crowns. I'm talking about being rooted, present, confident in your skin. When you walk in a room like you know who you are, people pay attention. Not because you need them to, but because your energy speaks louder than words. Here's the truth. Women don't fall in love with looks or bank accounts or muscles. They fall in love with how you make them feel. And if you make them feel safe, seen, respected, and inspired, they'll remember you. You won't need a pickup line. You won't need a flashy Instagram. You'll just need to show up real. So what's the one thing that makes you magnetic? Be the man who doesn't chase women. He attracts them by becoming unshakably aligned with his highest self. That's it. Build discipline, build vision, build peace, and then let your presence do the talking. Remember, you don't attract what you post online. You attract what you practice in private. So build yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, and when the time is right, the right woman won't just notice. She'll feel it. You won't have to chase anyone. You'll walk in, and she'll lean in. Confidence isn't something you're born with. That's a myth. It's not in your DNA, and it's definitely not reserved for the loudest guy in the room or the one with the sharpest suit. Confidence is built one decision at a time, one hard conversation at a time, one promise kept to yourself at a time, and the reason this matters so much, especially when it comes to attracting the right woman, is because confidence is magnetic. It doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it doesn't perform. It walks into a room and changes the energy without saying a word. Confidence isn't about puffing your chest up or pretending to be something you're not. That's performance, and people can feel it a mile away. Real confidence comes from congruence. from your words, your actions, and your values lining up, from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and living in alignment with that. When you say you're going to wake up early, and you do, that's confidence. When you commit to improving your life, and you actually take the steps, even if no one sees it, that's confidence. When you face something that scares the hell out of you and still move forward, that's the kind of confidence that rewires your brain and radiates out of your body. So many people are out here trying to fake it, hoping that if they talk the talk, the walk will eventually catch up. But let me tell you something loud and clear. Confidence is not a performance. It's a lifestyle. If you're trying to get someone to notice you, especially a woman, and you're doing it from a place of lack, she'll feel it. If you need her to validate you so you can feel worthy, she'll feel that too. What attracts women is a man who doesn't need them to feel whole. A man who is already grounded in who he is, and you only get there by doing the work when no one's watching. Confidence is built in the quiet hours. It's built when you choose to go to the gym instead of scrolling, when you read the book instead of hitting snooze, when you invest in your emotional health instead of numbing out with distractions. These daily choices add up, and they compound because confidence isn't a switch you flip. It's a muscle you build, and just like going to the gym, you don't see results right away. But if you stay consistent, if you stop quitting on yourself, you will start to feel it. That shift in posture, that steadiness in your voice, that grounded energy that doesn't need to prove anything. You want to know the fastest way to destroy your confidence. Keep breaking promises to yourself. Say you're going to start something and then don't. Say you're going to stop something and then cave. Every time you do that, you teach your brain that your word means nothing, that your goals are negotiable. And you think that doesn't show up in how you carry yourself. It does. It's in your body language, your eye contact, your energy, and yes, women notice, but the opposite is also true. Every time you keep a promise, even a small one, you build trust with yourself. And that's the foundation of unshakable confidence, ***, self-trust, ***, the ability to look in the mirror and know, if I say I'm going to do it, I'll do it. That energy, that's what draws people in, because it's rare. Because it's real. Confidence also means owning your flaws without shame. It's not about being perfect. It's about being authentic, vulnerable, human. A confident man doesn't hide from his insecurities. He works on them. He doesn't pretend he has it all figured out. He stays open to growth, and that humility combined with drive, that's a lethal combination. That's what makes someone unforgettable. Women aren't looking for someone who's figured everything out. They're looking for someone who's doing the work, who's present, who listens, who stands for something, and that starts with you. Confidence isn't something you slap on before a date. It's something you bring with you because you've lived it. You've earned it, and it shows. So if you're tired of feeling overlooked, if you're frustrated that your relationships aren't working or your presence doesn't land the way you want it, don't start with how to impress anyone. Start with how you're showing up for yourself. How are you leading your own life? Because if you can't lead yourself with clarity and courage, how can you expect anyone to want to follow your lead? Confidence is built in the trenches, in the early mornings, in the tough choices, in the quiet wins no one sees. It's built in the discipline of not giving up on yourself. You want to be magnetic. You want to walk into a room and have the right woman notice you without saying a word. Then start with this. Become the man you would respect. Build a life that you're proud of privately. And when you do that consistently, confidence won't be something you fake. It will be who you are. You don't attract what you want. That's the hard truth. You attract what you believe you deserve. Read that again, because it's not just a cute motivational line. It's a fundamental principle shaping your entire reality, especially in your relationships. If you've ever found yourself asking, Why do I keep ending up with people who don't respect me? Or why does love feel so difficult for me? This is your answer. It's not because you don't want something better. It's because deep down, your self-image is setting the ceiling for what you allow into your life. Let's get something straight. You can't want an extraordinary relationship while believing you're only worthy of scraps. You can't dream of a confident, emotionally intelligent, loving partner and simultaneously beat yourself up, sabotage your own growth, or settle for less than you need. Your subconscious beliefs are running the show. And if your belief system is shaped by past rejection, trauma, or internalized stories about being too much or not enough, guess what? You'll subconsciously gravitate towards situations that confirm those beliefs. Not because you enjoy pain, but because it feels familiar, safe, predictable. Let's take it deeper. If you believe even quietly that you are hard to love, that love has to be earned, or that you're not worthy of being chosen without performing, you will attract partners who validate that belief. They'll keep you guessing. They'll make you feel like you have to chase. You'll be drawn to people who mirror your internal doubts because your nervous system recognizes the pattern and mistakes it for comfort. Meanwhile, the healthy, emotionally available, affirming people, they'll feel boring, too easy. You'll question their sincerity, not because they're wrong for you, but because your subconscious doesn't know what to do with that kind of stability. And here's where the shift happens. When you start believing that you are worthy of love, without performance, without games, without being anything other than you stop tolerating the bare minimum. You stop chasing people who aren't ready. You stop mistaking chaos for chemistry. You stop fighting to prove your worth to people who don't even deserve a seat at your table. The moment your self-worth changes, your standards change. Your energy changes. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to post about it. You just start showing up differently. You walk away from situations that don't align. You speak up for yourself. You recognize red flags not as a challenge to fix, but as a sign to leave. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but how do I actually change what I believe I deserve? Here's where the real work begins. It's not about repeating affirmations in the mirror, although those can help. It's about making new decisions, tiny, uncomfortable, consistent decisions that reinforce your worth. It's about saying no when it's easier to say yes, setting boundaries when you've been trained to please. It's about healing the part of you that still thinks love requires sacrifice, silence, or shrinking. You have to rewrite the narrative. That means identifying where your limiting beliefs came from. Maybe it was an absent parent, a painful breakup, or years of being overlooked. You acknowledge it, you honor that version of yourself who did what they had to do to survive, but then you say, thank you for getting me here, I've got it from here, and you start making choices from the belief that you are already whole, already enough, already deserving. This shift isn't just mental, it's emotional, physical, energetic. When you believe you deserve better, you stop accepting less, and people can feel that. You don't have to prove anything. You're no longer auditioning for love, you're curating it. You're filtering based on energy, alignment, and consistency. You become the kind of person who doesn't chase because you're too busy choosing consciously, intentionally, and from a place of abundance. Let's talk about magnetism. You might think it's looks, charm, or wealth that makes someone attractive. And sure, those things grab attention, but what holds it? What makes someone unforgettable? Self-worth. That deep, unshakable knowing that you don't need to become someone else to be loved. You just need to become yourself fully, boldly, and without apology. This kind of energy can't be faked. You can't Photoshop it. You build it by doing the inner work, by honoring your needs, by holding space for your emotions instead of running from them. You build it by living a life that's not designed to impress, but to express. Because when you're living in alignment with who you truly are, you radiate. You become magnetic not because you're perfect, but because you're real. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "Why can't I find the right person?" pause. Look inward, ask yourself, asterisk, what do I believe I deserve? Asterisk, and if the answer isn't something expansive, kind, and rooted in truth, get to work. Rewrite the story, do the healing, raise the standard, because your relationship life isn't a reflection of what you want. It's a reflection of what you're willing to settle for. Want to attract someone who sees your worth? Start by seeing it yourself. Want someone who chooses you without games? Choose yourself without hesitation. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are waking up to the fact that you've always had the power to choose better. And when you finally believe that deep down, your entire world shifts. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you deserve. So believe bigger, because you are. Most people chase love, thinking it's something to go out and find, like a prize waiting at the end of some perfect strategy. But the truth is, you don't chase love. You align with it. You become it. You create it by becoming someone who is asterisk ready asterisk for it, not just someone who asterisk wants asterisk it. Because let's be real, wanting love is easy. Everyone wants to be seen, held, understood. But being ready for love, that's where most people fall short, and that's why this conversation matters. When you're aligned with love, you stop chasing unavailable people. You stop forcing things that don't feel right. You stop trying to prove your worth to people who aren't emotionally equipped to receive it. And most importantly, you stop abandoning yourself just to be accepted by someone else. That shift doesn't come from learning pickup lines or reading dating hacks. It comes from asterisk, from your habits, from your healing, from your emotional self-awareness. Alignment with love starts with how you love yourself when no one's watching. If you can't sit with your own thoughts, with your own silence, with your own insecurities, then love will always feel like an escape instead of an expansion. You'll seek someone else to regulate your emotions, to make you feel whole. And when they pull back or disappoint you, you'll collapse, because you never built the foundation within yourself to begin with. We all have emotional wounds, some from childhood, some from heartbreak, some from things we've never even said out loud. Those wounds become patterns. We think, if I can just get this person to love me, it will heal that. But healing doesn't come from someone choosing you. It comes from you choosing yourself over and over again. From showing up for yourself in ways that maybe no one ever did. That's the groundwork of alignment. That's where your power lies. Once you're aligned with love, everything changes. You stop texting people who ghost you. You stop waiting for someone to realize your value. You stop tolerating hot and cold behavior because you finally understand you deserve consistency, you deserve effort, you deserve respect, and when you're aligned, that's your standard. That's your filter, not because you're picky, but because you're clear. Clarity is a superpower. When you're aligned with love, you get clear on what you will and won't accept. That doesn't come from ego, it comes from self-respect. It means you no longer entertain emotionally unavailable people, because you're no longer emotionally unavailable to yourself . You're present, you're grounded, you're emotionally fluent, and because of that, you attract people who speak the same emotional language. Let's get real about energy for a moment. When you're aligned, you don't have to chase or convince. You just be and that energy speaks louder than words. It's not about arrogance, it's about authenticity. You know who you are, you know what you bring to the table, and you're not afraid to eat alone if it means honoring that. That energy, that's what pulls the right people in. That's what makes you irresistible, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you're already impressed with yourself . Quietly, powerfully, truthfully, alignment also means emotional responsibility. You stop blaming other people for how you feel. You stop expecting someone else to fill your voids. You start managing your own triggers, owning your reactions, and communicating with clarity. And do you know how rare that is? In a world where so many people are reactive, emotionally avoidant, or codependent, being someone who knows how to handle their inner world is incredibly attractive. And listen, alignment doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you never get insecure or feel triggered. It means you notice those things without letting them run the show. You observe your patterns, you soothe, you communicate, you grow. That emotional maturity. That's love in action. That's how you create a relationship that's actually sustainable, not just passionate for a few weeks before it crashes and burns. So how do you get into alignment? You pause, you reflect. You ask yourself the hard questions. Why do I want love? What am I hoping someone else will fix for me? Where am I abandoning myself to be chosen? And then you do the real work, not just reading or watching, but applying. Practicing sitting with discomfort, saying no to good on paper options that don't feel good in your body, choosing you, even when it's lonely, even when it's hard. You stay single long enough to stop settling. You do the healing so love feels safe, not like a battlefield. You get honest with yourself about what you're ready for. And when you do all of that, not for attention, not for validation, but because you respect yourself, that's when alignment happens. And when that happens, you don't need to chase anything. You simply become a match for the kind of love you once thought was impossible. That's the truth. You don't chase love, you align with it. And when you do, love finds you. Not the version of you that's hustling to be chosen, but the real you, the grounded, whole, emotionally responsible, deeply aligned you. And that version of you, that's the one who attracts the right woman, easily, naturally, without games, because you've already become what you were looking for. If you want to connect with someone on a deep level, it's not about having the perfect pickup line, the fanciest car, or the most sculpted body. That stuff might catch someone's attention for a minute, sure. But if you want to be unforgettable, if you want to create chemistry that's real and magnetic, you need something most people overlook. You need presence, not just physical presence, but emotional presence. And that is the single most attractive trait you can develop, because real connection doesn't come from impressing someone. It comes from being with someone fully, completely, undistracted. In today's world where everyone's glued to their phones, multitasking through conversations, and always planning the next thing, presence is rare, and what's rare becomes valuable. When you show up with full attention, when you truly listen to someone, when you make them feel like the only person in the room, that hits different, that leaves a mark. You stop being just another person in the crowd and start becoming a moment they remember. Presence is power, but it's not loud power. It's quiet, subtle. It's in your eye contact, your stillness, your ability to hold space for someone's words without needing to fill the silence. You don't need to interrupt to impress. You don't need to turn the conversation back to yourself. You simply listen and you listen to understand not to respond. That alone can change everything. Think about it. When was the last time you had a conversation where you felt seen ? Not just heard, but felt . That's what emotional presence does. It makes people feel felt, and that feeling is addicting in the best way. People are craving that, especially women, especially in a world that's constantly trying to silence or fix them instead of truly hearing them. When you bring presence into a connection, you become the exception, you become safe, you become magnetic. But presence isn't just about being still, it's about being attuned, reading body language, noticing shifts in tone. Picking up on what's not being said. It means being in tune with the emotional undercurrent of the moment and responding with empathy, not ego. You don't have to agree with everything they say. You just need to validate that their experience matters. That you see them, And when you do that, you're no longer just connecting. You're building trust. Presence also means showing up authentically, not trying to be who you think they want, not adjusting your values, opinions, or energy to win someone over. That's performative and it's exhausting for you and for them. Real presence requires courage, the courage to be real, the courage to be seen, because if you're not willing to let someone see the real you, how can you expect them to fall in love with more than a mask? Being present also means dealing with your own discomfort. Most people avoid presence because they don't want to sit with what might come up: awkward pauses, vulnerability, rejection. But when you're grounded in who you are, you don't fear those things. You embrace them. You know silence doesn't have to be filled. You know vulnerability is strength, not weakness. And you understand that if someone doesn't resonate with your truth, they're simply not your person, and that's okay. And here's the paradox. When you stop trying to perform and start being fully present, you become more attractive, because presence radiates confidence. It shows you're comfortable in your own skin. That you're not desperate for validation, that you're secure enough to just be and that's what people want. A real, grounded, emotionally intelligent person who doesn't need to prove anything. But let's be honest, cultivating presence isn't always easy. It requires intention. You need to practice putting your phone away. You need to build the muscle of listening. You need to get comfortable slowing down, not rushing to respond or control the moment. Presence is a practice, not a talent, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Start small. In your everyday interactions, make eye contact. Be curious. Ask real questions. Stay with the conversation instead of mentally jumping ahead. Notice your urge to fix, to interrupt, to impress, and resist it. Instead, lean in, just be there, fully, that's it, and don't underestimate the ripple effect this has on your life. When you become more present in your relationships, you start becoming more present in everything. In your work, in your health, in your purpose. Presence makes you more effective, more fulfilled, more connected to the world around you. It's not just about getting the girl. It's about getting your life back. So if you want to attract a woman who values depth, connection, and truth, don't waste time trying to be flashy or perfect. Work on being present. Show up with your full attention. Make her feel heard, seen, and safe. Let her feel your presence like an anchor in a chaotic world. That's not something you fake. That's something you build. And when you do, you'll be shocked at what and who you start attracting into your life. Because in the end, presence is the most powerful way to say, I'm here and I'm real, and that's unforgettable. Charisma is often misunderstood. Most people think it's about being loud, funny, or having some magnetic physical appearance. But that's not what truly pulls people in. Real charisma is not about performance. It's about energy. It's about how you make people feel when they're around you. If you want to be the kind of man women are drawn to effortlessly, you don't need to pretend. You don't need a script. You need to cultivate an energy that speaks confidence, presence, and self-respect without ever saying a word. That kind of charisma begins with how you carry yourself in your own space. Not on dates, not in crowds, not on Instagram. It starts when you're alone. Do you respect yourself? Do you follow through on your word? Do you treat yourself like someone who matters? That energy shows up even when you say nothing at all. A man who is deeply aligned with his values, who is disciplined with his time and choices, who walks into a room without needing validation. That's magnetic. Because energy is everything. You can't fake calmness. You can't fake self-belief. You can't fake the kind of peace that comes from doing the inner work. Women don't consciously say, wow, I can sense he has a strong inner foundation. But they feel it. It's in your eye contact. It's in how you pause before speaking. It's in your body language. It's in your ability to listen instead of dominate a conversation. Your energy speaks long before your words ever do. Here's the truth: women aren't drawn to chaos. They're drawn to safety, not the boring kind of safety, but the grounded kind, emotional safety, psychological safety. A man who knows who he is, who isn't thrown off by rejection, who doesn't crumble under silence or uncertainty. That man becomes a space where others can relax, be real, and open up asterisk. That's charisma. That's leadership, and it's rare. And let's talk about vulnerability, because that's a huge piece of this. Real charisma has nothing to do with pretending to have it all together. In fact, the most charismatic people are usually the most open asterisk about their imperfections. Why? Because they've made peace with them, because they're not performing, they're connecting. When you can say, yeah, I've struggled with that too, or here's what I've learned from failing, it builds immediate trust. It shows strength, it shows character, and that kind of emotional availability, it's powerful. Now let's get into body language, because your energy is also expressed physically. Stand up straight, shoulders back. Breathe deeply, move with purpose, make eye contact, not to intimidate, but to connect. Smile, not to impress, but to invite. People feel your comfort with yourself by how you take up space. Don't shrink. Don't fidget and don't rush. Slowness is confidence. Silence is confidence. Presence is confidence. Let your body reflect the calm power you're building inside. Charisma also means you don't chase attention. You command it. Not with noise, but with certainty, with ease. You're the guy who doesn't need to shout to be heard, who doesn't need to brag to be noticed. You let your energy do the talking, and because it's real, it resonates. It lands, it lingers. That's why some people are unforgettable even after one conversation. They weren't trying to impress. They were just real asterisk. They were deeply themselves, and while we're here, let's clear something up. Charisma doesn't mean being liked by everyone asterisk. In fact, the more authentic you are, the more polarizing you might be. That's a good thing. If you're trying to be universally liked, you're diluting your truth. You're abandoning your real energy in favor of safety. But charisma is magnetic precisely because it's bold, it's honest, it doesn't shrink for comfort. So yes, some people might not get you, but the right ones will feel drawn to you, and that's the whole point. So how do you cultivate this real grounded charisma? It's simple. Start by keeping your promises to yourself. If you say you'll wake up early, do it. If you say you'll get in shape, show up to train. That self-trust is your power source. Meditate, get quiet, learn to sit with your thoughts, read, journal, reflect. All of this builds self-awareness. It builds clarity, and clarity sharpens your energy like nothing else. Also, surround yourself with people who reflect the energy you want to embody. If you're constantly around chaos, negativity, or superficiality, you're going to pick up that energy. Protect your space. Your energy is sacred. Guard it like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. When you walk through the world with intention, self-respect, and authenticity, you emit an energy that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't need to prove anything. That's charisma, and the beautiful part. It's something you build, not something you're born with. It's a result of daily choices, of how you treat yourself, of how deeply you live in alignment with who you are. So stop focusing on lines, stop trying to be flashy, start building an energy so real, so grounded, so magnetic, that when you walk into a room, people feel something shift. That's how you draw the right woman in, without force, without tricks. Just pure, embodied, unapologetic presence. That's the version of you the world, and she has been waiting to meet.